competency, Kendall was moved from a prison to a hospital, and defense attorney Carlos Gonzalez wants to keep him there, fearing what might become of his client's mental state if he returns to jail.
And then the issue is that you want him housed where?
At the same facility he's been housed.
In order to prevent him from decompensating?
Yes, Your Honor. Eventually decompensated to the point where he stayed in a fetal position, naked, not eating, and not interacting with any human being.
As Gonzalez goes on, the request to prevent Kendall from returning to jail becomes just too much for Bird's father to bear.
My son is dead, man. My son needs to go to prison. He don't need to be laying no mental hospital. He needs to go to prison, man. He was crazy. He wasn't crazy when he killed my son, man. He wasn't crazy then, but he's crazy now. All of a sudden he's crazy now. You want to lay in a mental hospital? You don't murder my son, man, for nothing. When he was trying to get away from you, you were trying to get away from you, man. You kept shooting him while his back was under the truck. You kept shooting him, man. You kept shooting him. His back was turned to you, man. He was trying to get away from you. And you murdered him, man, like that. You murdered him, man, like that.
Hey, Shalom. This is your brother Yeshua from the JMS Atlanta camp. Before I get into this message, I want to start off by giving all praises, all glory and all honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Ruach Kodash. And I want to send double honor to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone whom will and teach well, and a sincere shalom to all Yakim and Yaakwath, inclining your ear to the 100% truth. What you saw there was a quick video that is a beautiful parallel on Christopher Columbus Day, which was just yesterday. I wasn't going to do a message on it because I know a lot of the Akim have done messages on them, but just to cross the T's and dot the I's, I figured I'd put together a quick message and a history, because the purpose of that video was to show the parallel of the mockery that Babylon the Great is showing us, right? Because what do we see there in that video here? We see this Edomite. We see this Edomite here who I guess he shot that man's son. He shot him 4 times. And so what's going on here is he's trying to plead insanity. And one thing that really stuck out to me, well, first off, I'll say this is, when you watch this video, man, when you watch this video, you see we can all relate to the well, I don't want to say relate, but we can empathize with the emotions of the father. He's upset because he sees the charade. This Edomite shot his son, and now he's trying to plead insanity so that he can be in an insane asylum for a couple of years and then be let out. And so he sees it, right? And so, I mean, for you brothers and sisters, we've all seen movies and sitcoms of people trying to take this route. They do the crime and then they try to get out of it by saying that they were insane, they didn't know what they were doing. And so there's a perfect parallel. And the reason I picked this video out is because we can all empathize and see the mockery, and we can see the emotion of this man. His son was killed and he wants justice, right? And when you see this video, you want justice for his son too, because his son was killed, right? And so I picked this video out because this is to show the mockery that this is the parallel to show the mockery that Babylon the Great makes of its own justice system. And one thing I do want to get into the scriptures real quickly is I want to get 2nd Ezra. I believe it's the 13th chapter. I should have had it pulled up, but it's all right. They were all after I saw the same man that came out such these show, for I can see and understand where that he shall endure. This is the meaning of the vision. One shall undertake into I believe it's right here. Here you go. 2nd Ezra 13 and 40. these are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea, the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land, Azaroth. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. I bring that up is because, you know, it's talking about the northern tribes who were led away in the Assyrian captivity, and then once they had the opportunity, they went into the Americas, you know, starting in South America and then working their way up into modern day America. And I bring the scripture out not only because of Christopher Columbus, but in the video he said something to the effect of, my son was trying to get away from you and you chased him down and you shot him 4 times in the back. And that's exactly what the tribes were doing. They were trying to get away from their captivity, but this devil, Christopher Columbus, chased them down. And not only did he shoot them in the back, but, you know, he slaughtered them. He gave them smallpox. And so, it's the same parallel, man. And so the reason I show the parallel is because I want to show you guys, like, why is it, you know, that most Americans will empathize with that man, but they won't see the parallel of what they've done to the world. Most importantly, what they've done to the apple of the Most High's eyes, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. I mean, and I'm going to show you how he chases down and the real Christopher Columbus, so-called Christopher Columbus. These are some quotes. They try to right here. I'm going to get 2 quotes and then we'll get some scripture. It says, these are excerpts from his diary. It says, they brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things which they exchanged for the glass beads and hawk's bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms and do not know them. For I showed them a sword, they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. Their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. So, you know, in growing up in history class, you know, what do they tell teachers? Christopher Columbus was a brave man. He wanted to discover the world. But when you read into the history, you find out that he didn't want to discover the world for the goodness of his heart because he was a good man. If you look into the history of explorers, whoever found land and yelled out the word tierra or ground first, any profits made from that land you would get 10% of that, and so would your family. So Christopher Columbus wasn't a brave soldier. He was just a bastard that was, you know, a dirty Edomite who was trying to loot the world and be paid for it. You know, this is not a noble man. And this is the mockery that Babylon makes by still celebrating this devil. I mean, think about it. They're celebrating a devil who slaughtered innocent, man. It said right here, it says they willingly traded everything they owned. And what scripture comes to mind? Let's get this one here. Thou dealt treacherously, I think it's Jeremiah. Thou dealt treacherously, KJV. Yeah, Malachi. Thou dealt treacherously, KJV. Thou spoiled, Salaki, thou spoiled when thou was not spoiled. There you go, right here. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealt treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And the reason I bring that up is because it says they willingly traded everything, man. These people welcomed this Edomite. And it says that they gave him everything. And what did this man do? His first thought, they would make fine servants, man. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all. That was his first stop, man. And that's why scripture says, woe to you. So you see, the devil isn't a red-horned demon. The devil, there's a spiritual devil, which is sent by Yahweh Shai. And then there's the manifest devil, which is Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. And it says, woe to you, because you touched the apple of the Most High's eye, man. It says, of course we know that he raped people. Eventually, I have right here. This is a testimony, and Christians with their strange cruelties. Okay, right here. This is the one here, man. So this was detailed in one of the Catholic priests' diary here. This is in his book, Devastation of the Indies, Bartolomé de las Casas, the priest who accompanied Columbus on his conquest of Cuba, detailed the abuse and murder of the native population. He wrote, endless testimonies prove the mild and pacific temperament of the natives, but our work was to exasperate, ravage, kill, mangle, and destroy. That's their work, man. And you know what? That's what they were directed to do, but that's also what they were that's also prophetically of who they are. Revelation 6:4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. See, all this was prophecy, man, but their tongues fall upon themselves, man. It says our work was to exasperate, ravage, kill, mangle, and destroy, and that's what they've been doing. That's what they've been doing. It says, and the Christians with their horses and swords and pikes began to carry out massacres and strange cruelties against them. Strange cruelties. They attacked the towns and spared neither the children, nor the aged, nor pregnant women, nor women in childbed, not only stabbing them and dismembering them, which alone is horrible, but then cutting them to pieces as if dealing with sheep in the slaughterhouse. They laid bets as to who, with one stroke of the sword, could split a man in two, or could cut off his head, or spill out his entrails, that's his guts, with a single stroke of the pike, man. This is the fucking devil, man. They took infants from their mother's breast, snatching them by the legs, pitching them head first against the crags, or snatched them by the arms and threw them into the rivers, roaring with laughter, and saying, as babies fell into the water, boil there, you offspring of the devil. Blasphemy, man. Straight fucking blasphemy. Other infants they put to the sword along with their mothers and anyone else who happened to be nearby. Fucking devils. They made some low, wide gallows on which they hanged the victim's feet, almost touched the ground, stringing up their victims in lots of 13 in memory of our Redeemer and his 12 apostles, mocking us, man. Then setting burning wood at their feet and thus burned them alive, man. They burned their feet. They burned them alive starting from their feet. To others, they attached straw or wrapped their whole bodies in straw and set them afire. With still others, all those they wanted to capture alive, they cut off their hands and hung them around the victim's neck, saying, go now, carry the message. Meaning, take the news to the Indians who have fled to the mountains. They usually dealt with the chieftains and nobles in the following way. They made a grid of rods, which they placed on the forked sticks. So, basically 8 or 10, who knows, but a bunch of rods, pointy rods, like a grid. They made a grid of rods, which they placed on forked sticks, then lashed the victims to the grid and lighted a smoldering fire underneath, so that little by little, as those captives screamed in despair and torment, their souls would leave them. Man, this is the mockery that Babylon the Great is, man. This is the pride that they still have this Columbus Day thing going on, man. Let me pose a question here. Why is it that Babylon the Great celebrates this devil, but if you were to try to celebrate 9/11, for example, when 3,000 of their own were killed by their own government, people would look at you like you're crazy. But it's the same thing that they're doing, because you're celebrating the murder of our people, and it was more than 3,000 whom you slaughtered, man. And that's why this devil has to be put down. And then I do want to point out one thing too. If you look into the history of this, they were trying. The Catholic Church was trying to canonize this man, which was make him an apostle. But you know why they didn't do it? They didn't not canonize him because of all this atrocities he did. They were fine with this. They didn't canonize him because he had a concubine and had a bastard child. That was too much for the Catholic Church. They said it's okay for you to slaughter those Indios. That's what Columbus called the people. It's okay for you to slaughter them, but you having a bastard child, no, we can't do that, man. That's why this devil has to be put down, man. And in this age of information, it's all coming out now. This is Habakkuk 2:16. Everyone sees it. It says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered." See, we're starting to look back and see these quotes. See, before 1960s, 1950s, 1940s, hell, even for some of us, 2000s, 2010s in elementary school, we didn't know about this. But now, this devil is being revealed. That's why the scripture says he's coming down with great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time, because we're seeing who he is. And he sees us seeing him for who he is. Let thy foreskin be uncovered. That's showing his nakedness. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. We're seeing him for who he was. You know what I'm saying? And this is the mockery, man. And this is what you got coming. Because this is the book of Revelation 18:24. It's talking about Babylon the Great, right? Which is the head of the entire beast system, whom the sword had been given to subjugate the world, but most importantly, subjugate the children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It says, and in her, again, this is Babylon the Great, America, Edomites, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth, because you've slaughtered the prophets, man. You've slaughtered the saints, not just the Indios, but the transatlantic slave trade. You've touched the people. You've touched the apple of the Most High's eyes, man. And because of this, what do you've got coming? This is Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. He must. Right? Must. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. That's what we're praying for. Just like we saw this man stand up and call out the mockery. That's what we're doing, man. We're calling you out, Esau, Edom. And we're showing our people who you really are, man. And you must be killed by the sword, because that's what you did. Just as we can see the parallel here where everyone wants justice for the murder of this man's son, we are calling for justice. And that's the patience of the saints. What is justice? Eye for an eye. He that killed by the sword must be killed by the sword, man. So I hope this lesson has been edifying. I wanted to show the parallels of the mockery that Babylon the Great is still pridefully showing upon the world, man. Keep the faith. And with that, I say shalom.